Okay, so William, show me what you've got there. What is that?
This is a fine gem that I dug out of the basement. And so it's a camera that belonged to my grandparents in the 80s. It has not been used since. I had to purchase the film, I had to purchase the batteries, and I didn't really know how to operate.
Oh.
But it captures moments. And the reason that I decided to start using this is because I think that there's something to say about having physical pictures that you take, especially among people that you care about. And so I decided to bring this because, again, grounded within Ottawa life, but also giving me a chance to feel connected to my Toronto people. And so this is why I decided to take a picture of this wonderful person named Douglas, who I can take with me when I have my little scrapbook of memories to share.
And so have you yet had to develop photos from it?
I have developed photos.
And what is it? And what do they look like? They're like handheld, right? Like not digital, right? And they come out really good and fine and clear and all that?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't imagine. It's such a throwback because that's what I grew up using as a kid, right? So again, talk about then the value of what it means to hold your grandparents' camera, to use it to document in a way that they did, but also to then really, rather than digital, because you very much grew up in a digital era, so what does it mean to you to sort of do this throwback?
I like the visual aesthetic associated with these type of pictures. I also find that it brings specific memories for when I was a child and there were so many photo albums. Like, I remember whether it was for Christmas, whether it was for certain birthdays, that there would be boxes of albums that contained all of these different memories, including memories with my mom when she was a kid. And so having the opportunity to see that, and even seeing the evolution to the point when I was a baby or even an infant, it makes me long for those spontaneous moments. Because again, everything is so accessible now with phones, but I feel like that intentionality is kind of gone because this shit is expensive, first of all. And second of all, you have to be really specific about what it is that you want because it's only one shot. And if you goof, you goof. But that in and of itself is something that I wanted to hold with me when it came to this Toronto trip. Just because it's been so long since I've seen my people. And so more than anything, I wanted to keep this as an emblem. Also to note that through the difficulties that comes with COVID, that there's still a glimmer of satisfaction just based on the moments that I've been able to share with people.
Wow. And that thing about being intentional, because, you know, you have it in a film roll, you have only so many shots. And remind me now, how many shots do you have in a film roll now these days?
This one has 26.
26. And can you go higher? I think you can still go up to a certain amount. Is there a limit of how high you go with the amount of rolls you can get? I know it's usually more expensive, each film roll that goes higher. Do you know, or is that the largest and highest it goes?
This is the highest.
Oh, okay. Well, and about how much would that run you? As you said, it's expensive. How much would a film roll run you?
This would be around, okay, so film will cost $20 or so, but then you also have to get it developed.
Right.
Which also costs $20.
Oh, okay.
And if you want, say, duplicates, that'll also cost money as well.
Right. Yeah, like back in the day, yeah.
So it's a little costly. That being said, I also think it's worth it. Just because when you actually have it within your hands, it just brings you back to that space of when you decide to take it and why you decide to take it to begin with.
Right.
And so for that, I can't just let it go.
Right. And do they still have that 24-hour development or within an hour or what? Or does it take more time now that there's less places to do this?
They definitely take their time because I have yet to find a spot that has 24-hour.
So usually how long does it take to get it developed?
This is going to take a few weeks. So
wow.
Sometimes it takes almost a month.
What?
Yeah. There were moments where I thought that they actually lost it and I was very upset. because that shit is fucking expensive. But no, it's because it takes a little longer to get everything going. And it's not on site. They actually have to send it somewhere for someone to actually do it.
So it's not like before you used to go to 24, whatever, camera shops and film, whatever. It's not like that anymore. Where would you go? Where kind of places do you go to get it done?
I get this done at well, I don't know if it's here, but Jean Couture has a service where you're able to get pictures. And I believe there's somewhere locally back in Ottawa where you can get them developed on your own, but it's a little further from where I am. Because even Walmart, I believe they used to have a photo section, but everything is dwindling down, and so they don't have the service anymore to take pictures.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. Because, I'm remembering us kind of being excited when it became, you could do it in 24 hours, then became 1 hour, or even sometimes I think it was like a month, and it was a few weeks or a week, or then it was like, so what you're saying, probably because there are less purveyors now of the service, it's gone back to, it takes a bit more time, all of that, right? Or at least in your experience in Ottawa. I'd be curious to find if in Toronto what is available to get this stuff developed. So you're making me now having to go find that out. So
get to digging. There's an opportunity there.
Yeah, amazing. And so, do you mind taking off your mask? Because now I think we're in a safe so we can see what you actually look like.
It's the fact that I recorded this with a fucking...
No, it's cool. It's actually cool because it means that we were following COVID restrictions. And so, can you tell us what your name is?
My name is William Koenig.
And where are you from, William?
Born and raised in Ottawa.
And what's your background, heritage?
Background, both of my parents are African, so my mother is from Angola and my dad is from Sierra Leone.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you. Oh, and is 1993 significant that you're wearing around your neck?
It's my born year.
Okay. Even though it's sort of turned around.
Oh.
That's all right. I love how you said born year like you're from the Caribbean, or like what Jamaicans say. Born, it's my born year, but I like that. Is that something that you would normally say? Is that like a turn of phrase that you use? Really? That you grew up using born year? I love that, because I always think it's a very Jamaican thing, but maybe it's a Caribbean thing, maybe it's a world thing, it's an African thing, it's a black thing. Maybe it's just a thing.
Very much so.
All right. Thank you, William. Oh, and why are you wearing Tupac? Is Tupac a significant person for you as well?
Yes.
Why?
It's the music of my parents. So what is pretty much the blueprint for my passion for music is from my parents. And so there are specific memories that I have of both of them, just taking the time to listen to albums from beginning to end. And from there, Tupac was one of them. So it just naturally transcended onto myself and even my siblings.
But is there something about Tupac that also strikes you? Because you know what, a lot of people are Tupac fans. I can't say I'm a big it's like Prince. All my friends are, oh my God, Prince, oh my God, Tupac, rah. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I respect the hustle. I love them aesthetically. I like the iconography of them showing up in places and rah, di-da. But I'm not so is there a way that you have that connection, and why? Beyond your parents? Is there something personally for you too that connects with a Tupac?
Yeah, I just really appreciated his vulnerability, and something that I really appreciated, especially when it came to his earlier music, was how integrated his environment was when it came to his storytelling. Like, I was actually watching a while ago this documentary on Netflix called Hip Hop Evolution. And so it was just breaking down the significance of Brenda's Got a Baby, and the fact that this was a story that was speaking about a woman, a black woman, and the few choices that she had when it came to raising a child. But all of this was conceptualized from a man, and it wasn't coming from a specific point of misogyny. Mind you, he, digressed, especially later on when he started to get more notoriety. But just thinking about this young black man, because when he first came out, he was quite young. My goodness. And so just having the opportunity to see those different worldviews to be captured in such a vulnerable aspect, it really resonated with me. And something that I always appreciated about him was the fact that he was very adamant about his own truth, regardless of what other people had to say about him. And I think that in and of itself is something that no one can really take from you. You have to really take pride in what it is that you believe within yourself in order to move forward. And so that in and of itself was something that resonated with me. On top of the fact that he can act down, like point blank.
All right, and is there something about as a queer black man that connects for you with that, as you just described it, about sort of authenticity and truth to himself and his story?
That's an interesting question that I hadn't actually taken the time to really think about. I think growing up within heterosexual spaces, you have to find some type of connection just based on what's available. Just because when it comes to especially black queer representation, it could be very scarce, especially when I was younger, where there wasn't a whole lot to turn to that was accessible. And so you lean towards certain influences that resonate with you to the best of certain circumstances. And I mean, Tupac is not perfect. There's a lot of mix-up associated with him as well.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But I also think that it speaks to a very human quality as well, in the sense that you can appreciate what's really being spoken for just based on what an artist has to say, but also acknowledging the fact that they're not perfect as well, and holding space for both truths to exist without negating one point. And I feel like that's something that can be difficult, but I also think that it makes for a rich conversation as well, just to know what it really means, especially since you're taking the time to make music, so it's not going to be exposed just to one set of people. You're gonna have a variety of different reactions, my apologies, just based on what the music is speaking for. And so for me, that in and of itself is what makes this exciting, because no one interpretation is wrong.
But I love the idea of actions. I always think that when people say it's not accidental, because I think what you're saying is also that can influence your own decision making and your own agency and your own kind of activity based on the kind of reactions you're having and the sort of impact that whatever is having on you in terms of how you see your life and imagine what you can do, right? So I'm going to use this as a different clip. So again, your name and your name and where you're based in the country. Yeah, your name.
My name is William Kone, and I'm born and raised and residing for the time being in Ottawa, Ontario.
What do you do for a living? What's your business?
So, I am a registered psychotherapist, qualifying still, under the College of Registered Psychotherapists of Ontario. And so I completed my master's in counseling psychology last year. And as weird as it sounds, I'm also a writer as well.
And what is the exciting thing you're working on right now, if you don't mind talking about it? Just a taste.
I am working on a manuscript that centers on Black queer women in Toronto in the 1990s. I'm also taking the time to create a story that focuses on the modern ballroom scene in Toronto that showcases Black queer performers.
And something you can't talk a lot about, but there's also opportunity to work within collectives of writers around some projects.
Exactly.
All right, so I won't dig any deeper because that will come out when he's prolifically part of some production team that is going to be taking the world by storm, and you'll remember him when from this video. Thank you, William.
Thank you.
All from just him pulling out this camera. And I love that the camera is called Freedom. It's called Freedom One, right? What do you think about that? It's called Freedom One. Does that register for you that you pick up this camera that your grandparents had and it's called Freedom One? Does that have any significance for you? I just love that.
Again, it's also something that I hadn't taken into full consideration. But if you're really thinking about it, there's a choice in taking pictures, right? And so with that freedom also comes opportunities to feel empowered, because like I was saying a little earlier, you have to be very specific about your shot or else it's going to be a miss. And so I think having that intention, but also having the choice in what type of picture you want to take can be rewarding. Just to find something that resonates with you. Because again, photography is going to range just depending upon what it is that you want to explore. And so when it comes to Freedom 1, I guess you can say that that's still to be decided. I'm still trying to figure out what resonates for me when it comes to this exploration, since it's still very new.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I didn't realize that there was a Minolta, which I remember very well. Oh damn. We got one sitting around somewhere too. Thank you, William. Here in a hot ass day in Toronto, it's 31 or 32 degrees, and God knows what the what's that humidity index is, and we're here on this patio of I think it's Church Street Espresso Bar. That's really a cool little spot. It's actually been cool. Right here in the heart of the queer village in Toronto. And it's at Church over there, over there, and Isabella. Ciao.